Sunday morning, it's Adam English with you. Hope all is well with you. So, let's talk about this then. This is absolutely fascinating. George, a.k.a. Gory Gang, made a short film in 2020 called The Journey of a Lifetime, and it told his story of living with bipolar disorder in the music industry. From then, he has been passionate about using his own experiences to be an active mental health advocate, and he does this through his music, but also through a talk show. And one of the guests will be Perry Power, who shares his story as a child sexual abuse survivor. Both George and Perry are here with me now to talk about it. So George is in the studio with me live. Hello, George.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. And then we've got Perry on the phone. Perry, hello.
Hello,
there
guys.
We go. Excellent. So we're all together. This is lovely. Okay, brilliant.
Right.
So, George, I'm going to start with you. So let's talk about your music first of all. You're a musician. You call yourself Gory Gang.
Right.
How did that all start?
So I've been doing music for a good, I'll say, actively a good 10 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been but I found a new way of expressing myself after, I got diagnosed with the mental health condition, which is just being more expressive about my emotions and not just making music, and that's all gone well in terms of the filmmaking, because I included that in the filmmaking as well.
Right.
And now I'm taking it further to producing this talk show.
So your bipolar disorder,
Right?
How does that affect you in the music industry?
In terms of like pursuing my career, it's been very disruptive, obviously,
right.
Because I'm doing great now, but I've had to have many years where I had to take off time because of like a relapse and that recovery period. But yeah, I'm doing a lot better today though.
It's one of those things that sort of comes in like a freight train and just takes you completely off track.
It does.
Your goals and your ambitions just completely get sideswiped and you're sort of left focusing on this thing. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing great now. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And when did you decide that you wanted to use this experience to educate other people?
In 2020, when I directed and produced The Journey of a Lifetime, the short film. It's available on YouTube, by the way.
Excellent.
And then past that point, I gained a lot of interest from that short film, and I wanted to take it a bit further, and instigated this talk show, also under the banner of The Journey of a Lifetime.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's talk about this talk show now then. Yeah. And one of the guests is going to be Perry Power, who is with us now, obviously. So, Perry, can you share some of your story about experiencing sexual abuse as a child?
Yeah, for sure. So it started when I was 10 years old, and it would be whenever I go around my nan's house. She had a husband who was my step-granddad, and he would... At the time, I didn't know it was sexual abuse, which a lot of people who've gone through something similar can relate to. I just thought it was a form of love that he was giving me that no other family member was giving me, which we kind of know falls under the bracket of grooming. And he would he would do things to me for about a year and a half, and it stopped when my stepmom caught it happening. She was in the house at the time, and she thought something was a bit weird, and she pulled me out. And then my dad questioned me, and I told him about what was happening, and they stopped me from going around there. And then my dad said, right, don't go to school and tell this to your friends. Don't go and tell anybody else. Just keep this at home. And that was the start of a 12-year silence that I lived in. And I ended up breaking that silence. My dad suddenly passed away from a heart attack in 2017, and that kind of forced me to confront my own demons, which then forced me to break my silence and then go onto the path of helping other people break their silence too.
So this idea of breaking your silence, you've agreed to go on George's talk show. How important do you think it is to reach others who are maybe going through these kind of experiences?
I think it's the most important thing in the world. And the reason why is because when I broke my silence, I found out that my dad was a victim too.
Right. Okay.
And he was sexually abused by the same man that abused me. My dad lived in silence his entire life. So knowing that he lived and died in silence, that made me realize, okay, how many other people are out there right now currently living in silence, going down a self-sabotaging path, with coping mechanisms, for example, like alcohol, like drugs, to fight away the demons that they're living with. And that's a journey that I started 5 years ago, and there's been ample proof every single day of people reaching out, been like, I'm breaking my silence, thank you for this, thank you for that, and just seeing the further proof that this is a problem that needs to be solved.
And of course, I mean, obviously both George and you, Perry, you are both men, and I think living in silence is one of the big problems for men, isn't it? It's very much a stigma living with mental health issues.
Exactly,
So how do you think that sort of feeds in to this narrative? How, are you trying specifically to help men get through this kind of thing because it's such a problem at the moment for men?
Well, when I started this whole journey of helping others, it was and it still is a message that is large enough to cater towards men and cater towards women, cater towards teenagers and children. They can all resonate with the message. And I keep it large enough to resonate with all sexes. But now, so I have a charity in America called We Rescue Kids, and we give mental health care to children and child survivors of abuse and sex trafficking. And at the moment, I'm going through a process, but at the moment it's an organization, and we're currently going through the legal work of turning it into a charity, and that's called the Andy Project. And what that is a name of my dad. My dad's name is Andy, and that is specifically for male survivors of intrafamilial abuse, and helping them with the support system that they need to break their silence and heal from the trauma that they're currently living with. So it's work that I'm doing specifically for men too as well.
That's fantastic. Best of luck with that charity and all the work into that. That's fantastic to hear. So, George, back over to you then.
Yeah.
With this talk show, right, what exactly do you want to achieve? What do you want people to go away from that talk show thinking and feeling?
So, I think most importantly, the stigma. The stigma. We're trying to challenge all the stigmas attached to mental health, creating the awareness. As everything that Perry does is amazing, helping others break the silence. So we want to reach a wide, demographic, create a platform where, this conversations can be made. And my long-term goal will be to, if there are any TV producers listening, to try and reach out. I'd like to later on, propose this to like a TV channel or something later on. We also have the live music segment. The entertainment that goes after the... Oh,
so your music sort of heritage still plays a part there. That's great.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it is this idea, isn't it, of you're not alone. And it's, people who think they are alone in what they're going through in terms of mental health. But the idea of having a talk show, that's exactly it. It's talking about it. It's opening up that dialogue. And that's such a strong start to the journey to recovery, isn't it?
Exactly. So important.
And how can people find out more about this talk show if they want to go along, if they want to contribute? How can they get in touch and go along?
So for the next event, it's taking place next Saturday, the 20th of August, from 2 p.m. at Oxford University's Vincent's Club.
Okay.
So that's for next week. You could pay on the day when you arrive, or you can, if you got Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Tawal Music. TAWAL Music.
Brilliant.
And you go straight into my link in my bio, and there'll be a ticket link there waiting. All the information is on my Instagram as well. There's also links to the actual page for the talk show, which is also The Journey of a Lifetime.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's TAWA Music on Instagram.
TAWAL Music on Instagram.
TAWAL Music on Instagram. Go there. Have a look at the link in the bio if you fancy getting involved with this. George and Perry, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on.